All right, here we are with the man, the myth, the legend, Marcus Beer. Marcus, it's been a long time since anyone's seen you, and I think a lot of people are concerned with how you're doing. What is the latest update?
Oh, what is the latest update? Well, I'm alive. That's the good one. Yeah, I am actually getting treatment for angina right now. That's one of the side effects of. In fact, just let's just rewind and go back to the beginning. First of all, thank you, Shane, because Shane was obviously one of the first people who started the medical fund for me, which has been an absolute godsend, to be honest with you. But what happened was I had the heart attack, and then 24 hours later I had the second one, which is the Widowmaker, and it was because there's of all the arteries going into the heart, two of the three main ones were 100% blocked. The remaining third one was 70% blocked. So basically, on the last couple of days, I'd been functioning on like 10% of my blood supply. And I basically gave up the ghost at about 10 p.m. on a Saturday night. I was actually in this very games room. I think I was playing Fallout 4 on my laptop. And Spike, the Wonder Dog, decided he heard me gasp. And he came in here and started barking because Shauna was in the next room. And she knew something was wrong because I didn't tell him to shut up. So she came in, and fortunately, because we'd gone through the foster training process, we both knew CPR, so she knew what was happening. She got me on the floor, which considering I've got a good 150 pounds on her, she got me on the floor. She did the CPR to keep me going. She called the ambulance, the paramedics. They were there within 4 minutes. They kept me going for another 11, 12 minutes, I think, all told. During which time I was technically dead. So they kept me going until they got a response. Then they got me in the ambulance and got me down to Huntington Hospital, where they put 5 metal stents into my heart. So basically these micro, mini little metal things that are force my arteries open because the plaque had clogged them. I'm genetically predisposed to clogging, but the cigarettes hadn't helped. The Diet Cokes over the years hadn't helped. The predilection for half a ton of chocolate and foie gras and steak and all that, they hadn't helped, and it had just mounted up. So yeah, they kept that open, and then put me into the hypothermic coma for a week. The good news is I don't remember a thing. I remember the day before driving, which is when the first heart attack hit. I just thought I had heartburn. That's how rock star I am. I actually got out the car, had a cigarette, thought I was fine, and then good.
Oh, man.
Exactly. But yeah, the first thing I really remember is the following Friday and seeing Shauna. But yeah, apparently it was not fun for anybody. But yeah, so that's basically been everything, that was medically wrong. They put a sixth stent in a month later because I was still having issues. And I'm now prone to this thing called angina, which is basically my new improved and free and clear veins and arteries are actually getting the blood they should, and they're kind of like stressed out by the overwork.
Oh, wow.
So every morning, 5 days a week, I go down to Huntington Hospital, and they strap me into a bed, and they put like the blood pressure cuffs. They put two, one on each thigh and one on each calf, so that's 4 in total. And then I sit there for an hour while they pump air and basically pump the blood around my body, forcing my heart to work harder, which is great. It's building new veins, new arteries, new pathways. The downside is hurts like a bugger. But again, I've got another 2 weeks. But then eventually I won't have angina anymore, which means I come off some more painkillers and I come off some more of the medication. Because with supplements and everything, I'm about 15. I think I'm on 15 tablets a day right now, which is I'm a one-man pharmaceutical money-making scheme. But yes, look, I'll be honest with you, I shouldn't have survived the heart attack. I shouldn't have survived the ambulance ride. I shouldn't have survived the coma. Shouldn't have survived the surgery without having some major side effects. The only real issue, apart from the fact that I'm just tired all the time and I've put on a bit of weight because I'm not exercising in any way, shape, or form, is that my concentration's a bit spotty. My memory, I really can't remember much, to be honest with you, about most of December or January. of end of last year and now. But I'm getting better. I am sleeping. I'm sleeping at decent times. I've got an exercise bike for when this is finished. This treatment will be on the exercise bike. I'm going to drop 20 pounds, and then I can get on with my life. I haven't had a cigarette since the day of the heart attack. I've cut soda out of my life. I am on iced tea. Iced Earl Grey tea. I'm not having coffee anymore. Pretty much off dairy. And that was hard at first. I mean, you have no idea what it's like walking around Target when you see those rows upon rows of M&Ms and Raisinets and Coke Zero and Mexicoke. And I'm like, I don't think I can ever come in here again. But I was there yesterday, and I walked past all that with no problem at all. I mean, I have trail mix instead of a bowl of M&Ms now. So, yeah, I'm making the changes just to make sure I'll be around for another 30-odd years, hopefully. But it's, I saw my cardiologist on Tuesday morning, and he's very pleased with me. He doesn't want to see me again until November, which is a good sign. I mean, when a doctor doesn't want to see you, you're on the right track. So yeah, I've just got to keep on plugging, and then I'm still going to be in recovery until probably next March, because that was the date of the last major procedure. And then I want to start getting back slowly into the work routine in January. Maybe doing some consulting, who knows, maybe even turn up and pop up with you every now and again. I know Pact has been bugging me. I mean,
he's been bugging me.
Yeah.
He's been begging for
that's
it.
The thing. I've not been able to drink too much scotch either. So, but maybe we'll do the Christmas boat ride this year. But yeah, that's basically been, the highs and lows. I mean, obviously one of the other issues was that we were foster parents when this thing happened, and the little baby who we thought would be our adoptive child, they had to relocate him to another family because I couldn't look after him and Shauna was working, and I couldn't even pick him up for the longest time. So it was best, I think, all around for everybody, which means we're not parents anymore. And we have to reevaluate that now, because I have to get healthy before we can take care of anybody beyond a cat, 4 cats and a dog. But on the whole, look, I'm lucky. I am not a believer in a big sky finger or whatever it is looking after us all. I mean, I only believe in Santa, but I am a big believer in positive thought, and everybody, all the Sifted crew and everybody in the industry. I mean, it was so nice. I mean, Shauna gave me my iPad, I think, on the Friday after I came out of the coma, and she just said, go to Facebook and take a look at the messages. And I'm not afraid to say I shed a tear. I was very touched. It was very, very nice to see how many people cared, although it did take me dying for the bastards to really sort of say they like me. I mean, all this time me thinking everybody just tolerated me, and who knew? But no, as you can see, I'm doing good. I'm recovering. The brain has been the biggest issue. Getting the concentration back, reading like I used to, playing games like I used to. I don't, for the longest time, I haven't been able to put in more than an hour into a game. So that will change. Better change. I just spent $500 on a Scorpio. So when that thing arrives, I better be playing it, or otherwise the wife will hit me with it.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Obviously, you have a lot of time, just kind of relaxing and taking it easy. What games have you been playing, Marcus? What's been resonating with you?
I got the PlayStation VR, and look, I've been saying for years that VR is the next big thing. VR is the way forward for games. I mean, some will say it's esports and shit like that. I say no. I love the PSVR. Star Trek. It's not exactly the most technically challenging, super advanced, intricate game. But when there's 4 of you on a Tuesday night with, some substances being consumed by some people and, a scotch or two as well for me, it's brilliant. I mean, just getting through the various missions, talking, bullshitting. I mean, you and I talked about was it the Werewolves Among Us? That's great. I mean, it is really, really a shit ton of fun. And I heartily recommend it. I mean, I'm hoping that Sony continue to do a bunch of VR stuff. I mean, obviously, Fallout VR is about to hit. And which means that now, after 2 years of playing Fallout 4 on my my laptop, I'm now going back to go and put it on the PS4 because I want to play on, I want to play that. And I got to say, VR, if you can get it on a PC now that the prices are down, or get it on the PlayStation, and hopefully Microsoft will come with something beyond HoloLens. That's the way. That's the way forward, and I'm a big fan. It needs to come down in price. It really does.
Have you found yourself having any problems with motion sickness?
No,
you're lucky.
Not at all. Which I did with the very first iteration of Oculus. The very first time I tried it, I got the demo on the Bethesda booth, and it was Doom 3 for VR. And I've made the crack over the years that VR must be amazing because it made Doom 3 playable and enjoyable. But it did make me motion sick. And this time around, I don't have any issues. And look, I mean, I'm on the specs now pretty much full time, wearing the glasses, and I can wear my glasses in there, no problem. I really, really dig it. So,
now, what convinced you to buy an Xbox One X?
Well, the Xbox One that I got sent at launch back in the days when I was somebody in this industry and had a a TV
always be
segment.
Someone in this industry.
I'm like something. No, when I had the NBC segment, I got the launch PS4, which is ticking along nicely, thank you. And I got a launch Xbox One, and it turns out that Xbox Ones do not like cats vomiting into their pants. Our oldest cat, CJ, who is 19, she's obviously a Sony fan cat. It was the Xbox One was in our living room before I redid The Office, because we were using it as a DVD player and everything else. And I heard her retching, and I went to see, and she was sitting on top of the Xbox One because it's nice and warm, and she threw up all the way into it, and I just, because it was in low power mode, and I just heard her.
That's it.
Okay, that's done. And I didn't. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I had more PS4 games than I had Xbox One games. Yeah. And when I saw what they were doing with Scorpio, that to me, it'll be the next individual iteration. I mean, it's like nowadays where you get an iPhone 5 or an iPhone 6 or a Galaxy 7 or a Galaxy 9. I mean, you just jump in between. So this one, this hopefully will last me a little while. Crackdown. I want my Crackdown next year. And now I've got with the PS4. It's not a Pro, it's a PS4, and it's the PSVR, and that's taken care of on that side. And now, the next one's a little step up as well, and I want those Microsoft games back in my life. I can still play them on the PC, thankfully, with Windows 10. But there's something to be said about, the console stretching out on the couch, having it on the big jumbo TV. So, yeah, that's why I did it. They just need to get their asses in gear and get that frigging Crackdown game out.
What about software, Marcus? A lot of people have been pretty critical of the lack of exclusive software for Xbox platforms over the last couple of years, and kind of looking forward to Xbox One X as well.
I think Microsoft has sat on their laurels for a long time. They had the lead with Xbox 360. And we all discussed this, that 360 came out of the gate and killed PS3 at the beginning. But, Sony learned from it. And that's why they dominated with the start of PS4. Everything they did was the right move, and they locked down the exclusives, and they didn't overpromise and underdeliver. Whereas Microsoft, we know they had the stigma of Kinect. They had the stigma of wanting to be this one hub box. Which is not why somebody's going to buy a $500 console. And we've said this before in numerous shows, both on game trailers and on every friggin' network going. Microsoft, I think, are learning. I thought their E3 press conference was pretty strong. I think everybody had a strong E3 press conference. I think this year is going to be good. But yeah, I think that they just had to pull their fingers out. And the fact that they've stopped making the Xbox One, they confirmed that this week, didn't they? That they just made the very last Xbox One, which is fine.
Well, actually, they confirmed that they had stopped making the original Xbox when the Xbox One S launched. Yesterday, they announced that.
Okay.
So they've actually stopped producing it months and months ago, and nobody knew.
Well, again, no. I mean, there's no need to make those older versions. I mean, if only they can just turn back time now and drop Kinect down a toilet.
Yeah.
Because that's I'm looking forward to having a console that doesn't need frigging Kinect. I mean, ironically, Sony have come through with something that you need a camera for.
Yeah.
In the VR. So if Kinect worked with a VR thing, it would become totally viable.
Marcus, you've been in the industry for a long time. You've been an analyst in the industry, a consultant. You and I did hundreds of episodes of Invisible Walls. We did the first, I think, 14 or 15 episodes of GameFace together. With all this in mind, where do you see the industry really headed? I mean, I know you said you like VR, but it's not doing especially well. Do you think that that's really kind of the next frontier?
I think it is when it gets cheaper. I think VR is not going to go away. We've seen some experiments, Google Glass, HoloLens. We know that we are years away from having a full projection room. You know, like Microsoft and a couple of others have been going on about. I think on the tech side, that's where we will go, because the PCs are getting more powerful. And, you know, when people start getting the PCs, and now that the consoles are basically glorified PCs anyway, I still think that is the long-term goal for the industry for immersion, because you can't beat it when it can take a tired platform genre and invigorate it just from this just different angle.
Yeah.
What could it do for, you know, No Man's Sky, for Fallout, for, you know, the Batman game was kind of limited, but still really, really fun because it's that novelty. And when people start taking advantage of it and actually evolving beyond the novelty and putting that framework together with multiplayer, that sort of level of fun is just great. That's where I would like to see the industry go on the tech side.
Where do you think it's really going, though?
I think we're going to be stuck in a League of Legends, Dota, Overwatch hell.
Games as a service, you mean? Where you pick up a game and you play it for years and years?
I think, well, it's going to be games that are just fast food gaming. It's going to be fast food gaming where the diet's not really going to help you. We're going to end up, unfortunately, the games that we used to play where there were 60, 70, 80 hours of single player. They've been going over and over, and we've seen this, you know, with Call of Duty over the years. That stuff's been refined down, and now they put the big set piece moments into multiplayer battlefields, which are great to look at and a sense of achievement when you're playing it. I still want to be playing the same map over and over again, or the same 6 maps. I kind of grew out of that in the late 90s after playing Doom and Heretic and Rainbow Six, and you know, you want the new content, but you also, you know, I want a bit of challenge that's beyond somebody just sniping me from a distance. I mean, the one game that is kind of interesting me is PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds.
Have you played it yet?
I haven't. I've been, my finger's been hovering. I'm now torn because it's going to be out on Scorpio.
It is.
So do I play on Scorpio, or do I double down and end up buying 2 copies? Put one on, you know, on this laptop and play that. That one's obviously doing great guns.
Oh yeah, 8 million sold already.
Yeah, it's not even finished though.
Yeah,
I mean it's still technically in green light.
Crazy.
But yeah, again, people are having fun, but it's not ultra. My understanding is it's not ultra quick games. It's not like 5 seconds and you're dead.
No, it's not. I mean, the games can take a while, but I think the key to PUBG, as the kids call it, is that once you do die, you can immediately jump out of the game, and literally within a minute, you're playing another one. And I think that's kind of it's the trick that keeps people hooked on it.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, and again, I want to see. You know, I play the MMOs. I mean, I've just re-upped World of Warcraft for the umpteenth time to take a look at the new expansion. And WoW is still great, and I just think that
I'm surprised you're still playing WoW. That's crazy.
Well, I just wanted, I wanted to go in and have a look. I mean,
you don't have to make excuses. It's fine.
Well, I'm playing Elder Scrolls Online as well. I mean, since that went, technically free to play,
right?
They've evolved that game. It was a disaster when it launched.
Yeah.
But now it's really, really good, and I'm still hoping for a Fallout one. But these, I would love to see the MMOs come back and take advantage of the newer technology. And I just want a bit more of a, I want to go beyond the fast food gaming. I want a three-course meal. And I think it's because I'm older. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have while I may not have the time that I used to have to burn into a game, and I know people are saying that's ironic now because I'm in recovery and so on, but I actually do sleep a lot. I mean, after this, I'm going for my afternoon nap because, again, I had the treatment this morning. Yeah, I mean, I miss being pulled in and immersed in that world, and I think it's also getting old. I mean, I'm 47 this year. I know you're 68, and you're looking good though. But I mean, when we started off playing games, we weren't playing games for like 5 minutes and then like game over. We've been sniped or whatever. Yeah. We'd play for hours on end. And I think it's just, the market is changing. The people are changing. The younger generations, they're switching away from the TV. They're all tuning into YouTube and Twitch and watching the games being streamed, which I still think is the most boring thing on the planet. And again, no offense to those who stream the games. No offense to those who, watch. If you're enjoying it, more power to you. But I mean, it could be worse. You could be watching the Kardashians.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah, watching Rocket League on NBC Sports on a Sunday night, way better than watching reality TV crap. But again, still, it just boggles my mind that people will fill auditoriums to watch this. And I'm not saying it's because, there's no skill involved, because there obviously is skill and talent involved. I just think it's the most boring thing in the world to watch somebody else play a game. I want to play it myself. And, like I said, I think we're different. I mean, I remember when we'd sit at game trailers and one of us would be in the bay playing a game, recording the video, and people would just come up behind and start watching, but want to get their hands on the controller. They want to get it away from
chance, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that esports are going to be as big as a lot of people are saying right now? The ratings for esports on television are rock bottom. I mean, literally just terrible.
It's not the medium.
And you're right. I mean, look, a lot of people watch it on Twitch, but I think ultimately, though, for esports to kind of have the revenue stream it's going to need to kind of hit the mainstream and become an accepted sport among more casual people, that it needs to be on television. Do you ever see a day where that might happen and it might be a success?
I would, and look, and this is somebody, again, who finds esports incredibly boring. I think TV needs esports more than esports needs TV.
That's a good point.
I think the networks know that, especially in the US, viewer figures for the NFL are in the toilet. People are getting quite sick of watching, when you know what's going on with the players who've got concussions, and you see all the bullshit with Kaepernick where he's getting, kicked out or blackballed, if you will, or whiteballed because of his protests. And then there's guys who beat the crap out of their girlfriends or wives who just get 6-week suspensions. People are getting tired of that hypocrisy. People are tired of how much everything costs for a jersey, for a game day experience, if you can even get a ticket without going to, a tout. And if you're watching it on TV, you have to buy the NFL package.
Yeah.
And, it's people are moving to look to other things. But, I mean, the beauty of, our society today is that this generation that's coming through that are watching Twitch, they are perfectly happy doing that on their iPad. They don't need perhaps the big screen experience that we like, where I've got my 70-inch TV and my surround sound so I can watch Liverpool tonk Arsenal 4-0 on a Sunday morning. You can watch your beloved Steelers. They don't need that. Yeah. They're perfectly happy to be on the smaller devices, have a more intimate thing, and react to, and interact with people as they do it.
Do you think that's really the rub with esports on television, is that it lacks that interaction because you don't have sort of that built-in chat with the community right there?
Which is a good thing, because the last thing you want on your television network is somebody saying, "Show us your tits."
Yeah, I mean, that's something that broadcast will never be able to offer, right? Because of that very reason, everything needs to be screened before it goes to air.
Yeah. Well, I also think that while again that I understand why people want that level of interactivity and connectedness, I don't think it's necessarily a good idea, because we've seen what's happened. We've seen what's happened in the games industry in general, and then how that's become a microcosm of what's affected, Britain and the US, and certain sections of the world over the last 18 months to 2 years, when people, without knowledge or experience or, dare I say, common sense are allowed to voice an opinion, they will go to the lowest common denominator. They will harass somebody and say, "Get your boobs out," or they will say they call somebody, a homophobic slur or racial slur, just to get a reaction,
attention.
Yeah, and I honestly, there's a reason why I did my own little podcast for a while called "No Comments Allowed," which I put on SoundCloud, and that was the idea. It was me talking about something I knew a lot about, passing my opinions on something I knew a lot about, opinions that have been curated over a 25-year period, quarter of a century.
Yeah.
And then no comments. I'd interact with a couple of people over Twitter or whatever, but I didn't want anybody coming in there and just bitching and moaning. And I just think that, I've said this before, the advent of the internet has given people a voice. But what we have found is that voice, on a lot of occasions, deserves to be silenced.
You're right. All right, one last question before I let you go.
Okay.
Since you've kind of been out of journalism and kind of critiquing games for a while, where do you think everything is heading? If you look kind of across the industry right now, you look at the editorial staffs of most of the major sites, the few that are left, most of the people that are working on them are 20, 22 years old, 24 years old. You could argue that it's a salary dump, or maybe that's just what people resonate with as younger people. Where do you think it's all going, Marcus?
I think the games industry has an age problem and is struggling with it. It's because, we've grown up with the industry. We've grown older with the industry. And the unfortunate, there is still, and again, something I've said for a very long time, there is still a perception that video games are a young man's gig, or a young woman's gig, or a young person's gig.
Yeah.
When it isn't. People of all ages can play games and enjoy them. And I think you see, yes, the salary dump is an issue. We've gone from print to online. We've seen ad revenues tank. We've gone to the worst possible scenario of the influencer. There's a reason that influence rhymes with effluence, because effluence is shit, and so are most of these influencers.
Yeah.
You show me somebody with 50,000 followers on Instagram, and they're hawking this, that, and the other, and they're getting paid for it and not declaring it, given the FCC rules that are in place.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you saw EA's press conference at E3 where it employed a lot of the quote-unquote influencers, and they ended up doing not, I don't want to be too mean, but they did not do a great job. And obviously you have millions of people watching, and when it's live, there's no do-overs.
What up, guys? Thank you for having me, EA. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Jesse Wellens, and I am a YouTube creator. So I am here to talk about Need for Speed Payback. If you guys didn't know, Need for Speed Payback, yeah, it's a great game.
Look, when I went to have my heart surgery done, I went to it was a cardiologist, not a barista. If you're going to host a press conference to millions of people around the world on a multi-billion-dollar industry with IPs like Star Wars Battlefront, FIFA, Madden, and Titanfall, and whatever you've got,
the Need for Speed guy was probably the worst of them all.
You don't pick fanboys.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Fan is short for fanatic. And again, with the problem we have had in the games industry for the longest time is that there have been way too many fanboys. And now because everybody wants their personal validation, it's like, validate my decision. If I was a total moron, I'd expect you to say I was wonderful and brilliant for being brave enough to order a Scorpio. But it's my fucking choice, my money.
Yeah, it is.
I don't need a pat on the head for saying that.
And you're not getting it from me anyway.
Well, but this is it. I shouldn't expect that, and I shouldn't expect my choices and preferences to be validated and accepted by everyone. I shouldn't have somebody saying, "Well, oh, you're wonderful. You're gonna go and get, P-Bug." Player unknown bug, the chicken dinner
PUBG.
game. Yeah, PUBG. There you go. It's like, or you haven't bought a Switch yet. You're an arsehole.
Right.
which is something that you do get. And no, I'm not buying a Switch. It's not for me. People are loving it. Great. I have problems with Nintendo. I always have. And those problems continue when they continue to underservice the market just so that they can have the cachet of a product that's scarce.
Yeah.
That's the only reason they do it. If they put enough out there to satisfy demand, people will be a lot happier. Plus, I still can't stand Zelda. So, and again, I've got nothing against people who...
Even though Zelda's a lot like Bethesda's open world action RPGs now, you still didn't resonate with you.
Look, I haven't played Zelda on the Switch. I mean, I played the last one on the Wii or whatever, or the Wii U or whatever it was on. I can't remember. But I mean, it's just not my cup of tea. I know you are a huge Zelda fan.
Yeah, I honestly didn't. I did not like the new Zelda as much as most. I liked it a lot and thought it was good, but I feel like once it changed genres, it was held to a different standard. And for me, comparing it to the best open world action RPGs in the genre, to me it fell short. I think a lot of people were looking over a lot of flaws because it was Zelda and it sort of had that paint on it.
Well, I think that is still an issue. I mean, we touch back to that fanboy issue. People will bow down and kiss the turds that come out of some people's asses because it has Zelda attached to it, or Metal Gear, or Gran Turismo, or whatever games we're talking about, and nothing is judged on its own individual right anymore. I mean, I got caught up in it. Fallout 4. I loved Fallout 4 when it first came out, but then I started to realize it wasn't as good a game as I hoped because it didn't have a lot of the options that Fallout 3 and New Vegas had.
Yeah.
And that's we're all guilty of that. But I think that if this industry is to evolve, it has to do something that the rest of the planet hasn't been able to do, and basically start giving people, getting a consumer base that's actually quite respectful. I'm not going to call somebody a dick because they're a Zelda fan.
Right.
Marcus from maybe 6 years ago might have, because, I played it, I just couldn't see it.
Yeah.
But I've got maybe grown up a little, God forbid. But I respect that people do enjoy these games. The same reason they do enjoy Final Fantasy, which, the last one to me looked like the Backstreet Boys on tour. Yeah. I not my cup of tea at all. I mean, like I said, I finished with 8. I loved 8. That was it. But I'm not going to slag you off for playing Animal Crossing, even though I tried it and it bored me to tears. But I just don't think we can do that anymore. I think we need, as a society, to basically have our asses kicked and get to the situation of, well, we will respect each other's differences, unless you're a Nazi. If you're a Nazi, you can go fuck yourself. And here we go. This is where it'll be. Oh, Marcus Beer brings politics into it. Blah 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 blah. Look, if you're a Nazi supporting, all the crap that's the bad crap that went on in Charlottesville, and you want to have your little right-wing marches, 10-1 you're a Gamergator as well. So do us all a favor. It's not about ethics. It's about you being wankers. But we've got to grow up as an industry. We've all got to grow up as an industry. We've got to grow up as a society. We've got some great games coming out in the next 12 months. I mean, we've got the new Red Dead. Yeah. Finally, we've got a new Red Dead. Yeah. I mean, and it's ironic that I still think that the best game of the last 5 years was the last GTA.
Yeah, I mean, it's still the top-selling game all these years later.
I'm playing GTA Online. I'm going in and now they're actually doing a sort of an update that's going to make it kind of player unknown Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
PUBG.
Yeah, it just launched yesterday actually.
Yeah. And I mean, that's great because they keep on going and doing this. And I've gone in and I still think that's the best game of the 5, maybe even the best game of the decade. I mean, beating out, some of the others like the Fallouts and Skyrims. And
sales-wise, it's not even close. I mean, it continues to be in the top 10 every month.
Because it's a fantastic game over and over.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, I came late to the Red Dead party. I really did. I mean, Redemption was the one that I played, but I played after watching you guys playing it over and over, and I really began to enjoy it. So yeah, the new one is going to be great. We've got a bunch of cool indie titles coming, which are going to be a lot of fun for people. I've got hopefully my Crackdown. Got a new South Park game.
That's right. Yeah, I'm excited for that game.
Yeah, Fractured Butthole. I mean, look, if you haven't played Stick of Truth, by the way, if anybody out there has not played Stick of Truth, I just replayed it all the way through for like the third time. I've done once on PS3 and now twice on PC. And this time I actually went and made sure I got a walkthrough and got all the fun little bits. But it's still just one of the best written games.
It is, yeah.
And it just goes, that's great licensed content. So I know there's people who are going to be pissed that I don't like Overwatch, or I don't like Hearthstone, or I don't like, I don't want to get into. And it's not a question of not liking. They don't appeal to me. They're not my cup of tea. It's not. I don't hate them, but they're not my cup of tea. I mean, Fortnite is another one, Paragon, and more power to these people who are doing this stuff. But am I interested in Destiny 2? I played the beta. Felt like Destiny to me.
Yeah, I thought the campaign was a lot better than the first Destiny, though.
Okay, I mean, I maybe need to put more hours into it, but again, might just wait again until the October release of the PC version.
Right.
Because apparently, it's going to be better on Battle.net.
It's looking great on PC.
Yeah, but we've got a lot to be thankful for. Let's just hope that we still have an industry and a planet and a country to enjoy it over the next. Like, I didn't go through all this shit just to have Korea blow us up, floods and earthquakes and biblical, whatever.
Yeah.
And all this crap. I expect to be around for 40 odd years, and I want to be able to breathe. I want to be able to eat, and I want to be able to drink water without having to sort of like drink it from my ankles because I've developed webbed feet. So we just need to get with the program.
Fair enough. All right, you got any last messages for your fans? Still lots of fans out there, Marcus. We get requests from our users and random people on Twitter all the time trying to bring you back. Got a message for them?
Look, I really appreciate everything that everybody's has said and done. I mean, the messages were, like I said, a little overwhelming in the best possible way. I don't know what I'm doing outside.
You never have, Marcus.
I had a vague idea. But it is actually interesting that it's come up that right now, I'm discussing this with my wife and some friends, that I don't know my place in the world anymore.
Yeah.
Because I'm in recovery. I'm not fit. I was never obscenely fit or anything like that, but I could still go to the fridge to get a beer without getting out of breath.
Right.
But now, if I'm awake more than 6 to 8 hours, I'm like, oh. So the actual health side of it apart, I don't know where I fit in the games world anymore.
Well, you would fit with us, I'll tell you that much.
No, and look, I appreciate that. I mean, we've had our ups and downs over the years, but I mean, you're still the guy who gave me my start, and I will always love you for that. And you're always a good friend. I just don't know. I mean, I've been more interested in, I've been doing the Doctor Who podcast with a couple of guys on the Lonely TARDIS team, watching a lot of movies, watching, the comic book stuff, the Defenders, and streaming a lot of that, binging it and just enjoying getting back into that. But that shit don't pay the bills. Yep. So I've got to figure out where I want to be and where I want to go. And I don't know whether it's coming back into the media commentary side, because, again, it's a young man's gig to a certain degree. I watch a lot of podcasters out there, like the Gamer Tag Radio boys. Those guys are absolutely brilliant. How they get their energy and still have wives and children and lives is just beyond me, because I get exhausted watching them. I see how hard you work. And I just got to figure out what I want to do. Do I go back to consult? Because that was kind of fun, just going to people's, to game companies, playing their games 2 years in advance and evaluating them and offering suggestions. It was actually so much fun and very rewarding.
Well, you're seeing stuff way before everybody else. Before anybody.
Yeah, but I also get a chance to make a change.
You're right. Make a difference, yeah.
Yeah, without people thinking, oh, he's just a PR guy.
Right.
Because when I was in-house and offering that, it's like, oh, he's just a fucking PR guy.
Right.
But now there is a little bit of weight to that. So I don't know. We'll see what, the goal is get me back working early next year. And, I will turn up. Maybe I'll do something, with you and Pacta over Christmas. We can do a romantic boat ride on the canals of Long Beach on his boat. but yeah, I'm very grateful to be here. I'm very grateful to my wife and my dog and the Altadena first responders and everybody at Huntington Hospital, my cardiologist, and everybody out there who's just said and done nice things. And I mean, you know, we were lucky. We had pretty good insurance.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, I met my out-of-pocket and deductibles on February the 13th of this year.
Wow.
But moving forward, I'm still paying. Well, I will be paying just for the rest of my life. First couple of at least $6,000 in medical expenses every year moving forward, just for the pills.
Yeah.
You know, look, what we've tried to do is with the money that people donated to us, we've put a lot of it to one side to take care of the excess, but we've also paid it forward as well, where we've donated to various charitable issues or people in similar situations who've lost somebody. So basically, you know, everything that you guys have done for me, I've tried to pay forward in you know, in the best way possible. So yeah, I just, you know, thank you. I'm still around. I mean, I rarely get on Twitter nowadays. I just generally tend to like it on Facebook. But yeah, if you see me, just say hi. And I got nothing but love for you all, and you in particular. And I just got to say that I'm looking forward to seeing you switch to Patreon next week. Or this week, whenever this goes out. But I think it's a great, you know, look, you've got a great service, you've got a great bunch of shows, you do so much good stuff. I want to see this succeed, and here's hoping that you get the second bite that you know, of the apple that you deserve, because we need something different. We can't keep on going to the mega networks. You know, IGN is not what it was, and there's still people there who, you know, I've worked with and you've worked with, you've known down the years, and they're brilliant people. GameSpot is not what it was. It's nice to see something in Sifted that's not catering to fanboys.
Yeah, and
that's the big deal. Stay away. No pandering.
But you never know.
No.
You know, I'll never do that, Marcus. That's never been my MO.
That's the thing. We don't do pandering.
Yeah.
Fuck the pandering.
Yep. Well, look, this is episode 100. You were around for the first 14, 15 episodes. Thank you. Thank you for helping
to
kickstart
100.
the show.
I lived to 100. That's actually pretty good. Let's see if I make it to 200.
I think you will.
That'll be good.
I think you will.
Well, congratulations on 100. I'm so proud of you for everything that you've done. I mean, you rock. And to everybody out there, again, thank you so much, and we'll catch up soon.